What's going on, guys? Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms. This is One World. Gonna check it out. All right. It's a short one. I think this is the shortest track on the album. Yep. All right. Let's do it. Bam. Slap. Oh. With some shine on it. Like a chorus or something.
Can't get no sleeves for my records. Can't get no laces for my shoes. Can't get no fancy notes on my blue guitar. I can't get no antidote for. Ooh. Oh yeah. I don't much like the reasoning you use. Somehow your motives are impure. Somehow I can't find a cure. Can't get no antidote for. Oh yeah. It's mostly vanity that writes the plays we act. They tell me that's what everybody knows. There's no such thing as sanity, and that's the sanest fact. That's the way the story goes. It's nothing but the same old news. Well, they can't find a way to be one world in harmony.
Mellotron.
Can't get no antidote for. Ooh.
Is that what that is?
Oh yeah.
This is a way more basic, pretty basic track. Is that a Mellotron? Is that what that is? Just Strawberry Fields Forever keys, right? That's what it sounds like to me, the fluty type of sound. This is my least favorite track of the whole record so far. Like easily. Mm-mm. No, it kind of sounds like a throwaway. Kind of sounds like a throwaway, like a fill-in. I can't believe that that Walk of Life was potentially not put on, but they were gonna put this on. God, jeez, terrible. Yeah, this is not interesting to me. It's not interesting to me. I don't care about slap bass. Slap bass to me doesn't. I mean, I love Marcus Miller. Marcus Miller is ridiculous, right? He's like basically the only bass player that should be slapping. You know what I'm saying. You know. But to me, I don't. There's not a lot of place for it where it's like, where I feel like it suits the song, as opposed to it's like, yeah, let me bass, right? Slap at the bass, right? Stupid silliness. And that's what I mean. It almost sounds like a joke. You know, I'm not into it like that, except Marcus Miller. Marcus Miller, to me, is the exception. There are a few exceptions with slap bass, but just overall, it's why it's like, it's just not, I don't know, it just doesn't suit music all the time. It depends on what it is. It's very specific. It's just such a specific sound. And when it's needed and it's necessary, it's great. It's the sound to go for. But this could have very easily just been, you know, when the option is like, okay, this could go either way, finger style, or I can slap, because you could do either no matter what. To me, the better answer is always going to be finger style. Because again, it's like a supportive role, right? You're playing the bass. I don't know. This is, you know, I'm sure there are people that, I don't know, I can slap and all, but just the times where I've had to slap where it's like, okay, this is what makes sense, or you know, if it's like songs that I'm playing or learning where it's like, okay, you got to slap or whatever, like you can call me out, right? Just as a basic, right? And that whole solo thing or whatever. It's like, okay, there it makes sense because the song is very like just the churn of it and it's very bouncy. That makes sense. This, no. Just no. Nah, it just doesn't make sense to me. That's my opinion on that. Aside from that, like, okay, this is very heavy, guitar driven. Okay, that's fine. And I like some of the synth stuff that's like subtle that's back there. That's cool. But overall, this is my least favorite track on the album so far. And I gotta say, if this is the worst track on the album, it's a nice album. I mean, thus far, it is a nice album. Thus far. There's one more track. The title track, Brothers in Arms, is last. And we're going to check that out. You know, to have one bad one, or one. And this is obviously my opinion. There may be people that love this track. They're wrong, but I'm just kidding. Okay. All right. Brothers in Arms. Closing out this album. Actually, let's get to some of this information, actually. Because the last track is longer, and this one is shorter. So, critical reception. Initial reviews of Brothers in Arms from the UK Music Press in '85 were generally negative. Wow. In a scathing review for NME, criticized Knopfler's mawkish self-pity. Mawkish? What is that word? Mawkish. Mawkish. Sentimental in a feeble or sickly way, having a faint sickly flavor. His lugubriously mannered appropriation of rock and lugubriously. Look at these words. Wow, cool. Lugubrious. Looking or sounding sad and dismal. Okay, so there's basically the same thing. Mawkish self-pity is lugubriously mannered appropriation of rocking Americana. His thumpingly crass attempts at wit. Wow, haters. He also accused the album of the tritest would-be melodies in history. The last word in tranquilizing chord changes. Wow. Most cloying, lonesome playing, and ultimate in transparently fake troubadour sentiment. Man, this is piercing. Sentiment ever. Yeah, really. What is scathing? Yeah, for sure. Sentiment ever to ooze out of $1 million recording studio. My God. Wow. Wow. That is I feel like that's some of the worst shit I ever read. Like, woo. Also, how wrong were you, asshole? Jeez. Holy mackerel. Record Mirror dismissed the West Coast guitars reeking of megabucks and sellout stadium concerts throughout the globe. Laid back melodies. Dire Straits summed up, this is like any other Dire Straits album quarried out of the tottering edifice of MOR rock. What is MOR? Middle of the road? I mean, Walk of Life is a smash. I mean, it's obvious that they're not correct looking back, right? Wow. Just that, holy mackerel. That first. The reviews from other UK music papers were less harsh. Sounds magazine or music paper, whatever, feeling that it's only a halfway decent album because it was only halfway decent songs. Knopfler has distilled his sonic essence via blues to appeal to Billboard romantics with cinemascape insecurities. And he can pull it off well, but not often enough here. Melody Maker observed that Knopfler had recently explored different creative directions with his work on movie soundtracks and on Bob Dylan's Infidels. Did he work on that? And bemoans that this admirable spirit of adventure fails to materialize. Instead, it sounds just a bit too like the last Dire Straits album, which I don't know, obviously, which sounded not unlike the last one before that, which sounded suspiciously like the beginning of a hugely successful and very lucrative plan to take over the world known as AOR, album-oriented rock. He concluded, the old rock school restraints and the undeniably attractive smell of the winning formula seem to block out any such experimental work, and what you end up with is something very like the same old story. Man. Okay, wow. U.S. reviews were more positive, right? For Spin Magazine, praised Knopfler's guitar work and noted that when the intensity of his works approaches that of his ravishing Stratocaster licks, the song soars. That doesn't happen as often as I'd like on this new album, but I find myself returning to certain cuts the way one might come back to a favorite chair. Singled out the haunting ballad, Your Latest Trick, that acerbic satire of vid-rock culture in Money for Nothing, and the outstanding craftsmanship in the words and music of the title track, which I haven't heard yet. Okay, which was not a new message, but at least something other than sex, cars, and drugs is being talked about here. Take that and the quality of the musicianship and you've got a lot. Mixed review for Rolling Stone magazine praising the carefully crafted effort, writing, the record is beautifully produced. It is. With Mark Knopfler's terrific guitar work catching the best light, although she found the lyrics literate, noted that the scenarios aren't as interesting as they used to be on records like Making Movies. Despite the production values and notable contributions from Omar Hakim, Brecker Brothers, concluded the music lacks the ache that made Knopfler's recent soundtracks for Comfort and Joy and Cal so wonderful. I'm not familiar with any of that. It sounds like he did soundtracks. Which makes sense, actually, now, because so much of this stuff is just mood, right? And vibe, really. So that makes sense. Rolling Stone's end of the year roundup of 1985's key albums. Knopfler's nimble, evocative guitar style and gentle vocalizing are still as appealing as they were on previous scenario-rich albums. Right, scenario, scene setting. I mean, there's a lot of that on this album, for sure. Later reviews have praised the album, reviewing the remastered Dire Straits album in 1996, Q, awarded Brothers in Arms 5 out of 5 stars and wrote that repeated listening reveals it as a singularly melancholic collection. See the guitar slashing of The Man's Too Strong. I like that track. And the title track, where joy is as sharp as sorrow. BBC Music, Brothers in Arms, a phenomenon on every level, a suite of Knopfler's very fine brand of J.J. Cale light. In his retrospective review for All Music, gave the album 4 out of 5 stars, crediting the international success of the album not only to the clever computer-animated video for Money for Nothing, but also to Knopfler's increased sense of pop songcraft. Dire Straits had never been so concise or pop-oriented, and it wore well on them. Concluded that the album remains one of the most focused and accomplished albums, and in its succinct pop sense, it's distinctive within their catalog. In 2010, when Brothers in Arms was among 10 albums nominated for the Best British Album of the Past 30 Years by the Brit Awards, music broadcaster and author described the list of nominees as risible, but added Brothers in Arms runs away with it for the quality of songwriting and musicianship. Okay, British music journalist. Looked at now with 2020 vision of hindsight, the image of the sleeve of Brothers in Arms seems uncannily prophetic. That national steel guitar heading up into the clouds, a shiny 6-string rocket devoid of any obvious means of propulsion, describes better than any words can what happened to Dire Straits after the release of their 5th studio album. Up till the summer of 1985, success had for them come as a byproduct of the music-making process. They had never courted celebrity, chased fads, or played safe. Dire Straits had been loved and respected as one of the few bands that have maintained strong and credible links with the multifarious roots of rock and roll at a time. Remember all the desperate pop posing of the early 80s when roots were emphatically not a fashionable place to be. Yeah. Wow. Just that first, just tearing. I'm still thinking about that. Was really harsh. Wow. Unnecessarily harsh people. Unnecessarily harsh people. Wow. Just wow. I mean, so far I like the album. It's not what I would have ever thought, but I don't know this band like at all. So there's that. Yeah, I mean the cover is kind of weird. It's just this, resonator guitar just in the sky. It's kind of weird. It's weird. I mean, in that way, like, if I were a guitar player, like a kid, like getting into guitar or whatever, and I saw this, I'd be like, oh, this is a guitar player album. I'll check it out. This is some kind of resonator guitar album. Maybe it's like acoustic, like an instrumental guitar album. It just throws that type of vibe, right? Or maybe it could be on like Windham Hill or something like that, So that's like what the album cover says to me, at least, but it's whatever. Anyways, all right. Gonna close out this album with the title track Brothers in Arms up next. I'll catch you then. Later.